What's up, everybody? It is I, Sigma, and we are back with episode 40 of the BBET GamesCast. I am joined by Superman Jeff.
People, what's your favorite superhero?
As well as Mr. Gamer.
Hello there.
And Blue Bones.
It's your boy. Yo, we hit 40.
Yeah,
we're about to be over the hill.
Midlife crisis time. Everybody.
Yeah, now we're gonna start the crazy podcast.
I thought 30 was the midlife crisis.
No, man, you didn't hear that.
That's
30
when you
was
started
20,
thinking about
and
it.
Then
So 30 is when you think about it. 40 is when you have it.
Yeah. So now everyone
You
look
got 10
for
years
a
to
side
plan.
piece, and then also look for a convertible.
And a toupee, right?
Them's the rules.
Okay, someone's gonna get massive credit card debt.
I think most of us might have already crossed
Yeah,
that
we kind of,
milestone.
a little ahead on that.
But like we always do, we're going to go ahead and get started with what we've been playing for the week. Does anybody want to volunteer and go first?
I'll go first. So,
All right.
this week has been pretty extensive as far as what I've been playing. I'll go back more recently. So yesterday I actually played Infinity Star Online with Fast Hacks. I played with it. We did some extreme missions and some time trials.
Is
Two,
that
three.
Is that a difficulty level, extreme?
Yes. So there's extreme missions where you have to pay. You get an extreme pass once a day, and it resets every 18 hours. You can get another extreme pass. But you can only do those based on the amount of extreme pass you have. So if you do it every day, you only get one extreme pass 18 hours later, because you're supposed to be kind of like let's say the
Dailies.
next or whatever you want.
Oh, okay, got it.
So you'll get it, and it'll be very rewarding as far as experience goes and gear. We did that, and then we was like, we'll wait for the concert that's about to happen.
Oh, they did another one of those?
Yeah, I usually ignore the concert. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I went and I was watching it. And the amount of like stickers that people were putting up with like crazy stuff on it. Holy crap.
Yeah, they did one of those during that first beta that I stuck around and watched. Not only did it slow like the lobby down to a crawl in terms of like the frame rate, but like people were just being very obscene. Like just
The stickers.
Oh my gosh.
The stickers. I'm hoping they figure out some way to counter
Censor that.
monitor it or something. They can't keep up with that type of stuff, because holy crap.
Give people a pixel grid, they'll make it work.
Oh my god. I don't know if these have been like between like 10 and 14 or something. These couldn't have been grown people just sitting there posting.
You'd probably be surprised.
I'm like, holy crap. Like, you can't even watch the concert. Like, let me go to this concert and just pop up these stickers. Like, me.
I think that's the whole reason for it. Like they wait for that moment, for those moments. Like
It's like the equivalent of going to a concert and you see a whole bunch of people holding up signs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's what I feel.
except
I'm not
they're-
saying
yeah.
they're unavoidable.
Yeah. These jokers are just like, it's just in your face.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool.
Irrelevant.
Because, my thing was, I was wondering how I was pacing as far as levels compared to everybody else, but mostly around everybody's level that was there. So we did a little bit of the extreme stuff. I got off a little bit after that. The concert kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. It was already late. I'm like, I'm just gonna hop off. Besides that, I played a little bit of Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Okay. Getting back into that.
Get back into it because I'm at the end of it, and I got the expansion pass, the DLC pass.
Mhm.
So I got like some stuff I need to finish. The last one, which was Origins, I did everything in that. I did all the DLC. I beat the game. I did all of it. It was just that immersive, and it was the first Assassin's Creed of that kind that was more RPG as opposed to just action.
right.
Not only did I play that, I played what else did I play? I played some I did like an hour or two of that.
I'm sorry, hour or two of what? Say again.
Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Me and Blue did some Bleeding Edge. That was pretty fun.
Was that your first time jumping into it?
I played once during the closed beta,
Mhm.
and that was it. So yesterday was probably like my second time doing like an actual match. I hopped in before just to play with the characters and see what they could do in like tutorial and stuff like that.
Right.
First time actually playing a match, and we actually did pretty good. We didn't lose a match.
Mm-mm.
It was pretty. It was fun. Um, I'd have to play it more to see the longevity of it. I did go in and play with the mods and see what kind of ones they offer. I
Yeah.
guess they come with default mods. I saw some of them.
Yeah, everyone has like a base version, and then as you raise in levels and then you get like currency, you can buy new ones that can allow you to change their base stats to better suit kind of what you prefer to do. And I really thought that that was kind of cool because the
Yeah.
characters are really different.
Yeah.
So
They really are.
even in within each class, you can still kind of prioritize being like a brawler or a ranged guy or like a trickster or whatever. So I thought that was interesting, and you can furthermore customize them to play the way you want, like doing lifesteal or spamming abilities or being attack heavy or whatnot.
I did like that. I saw like the guy you could focus on, the guitar guy. I forget his name. You could focus on his
Nidhogg.
Nidhogg.
Yeah.
his fire. You could put up his fire damage, which pretty much eats at like the tanks. It's
Mhm.
very good. Tanks. But my only thing was I didn't like the skins. I didn't think the skins were. They were
Fun.
yes, and they were too closely resembled to the original skin.
Yeah.
The one guy, the tank I was playing at, what was his name?
El
Oh.
Bastardo.
Stardo. His skins were just different colors than his original skin.
Yeah, I think that's how
That's-
pretty much all of them were at this
Mhm.
point.
I was expecting some because of their original character look. I was expecting some crazy stuff as far as skins go.
And I think they'll get there eventually. Like
Yeah, that's the way I feel too. This is super basic right now. It's kind of like Overwatch in its first year, where
Right.
it was just different colors of the same person.
for the most part.
Even though Overwatch did have better skins right off the bat, I feel like they're just getting started. They have plenty of time to grow from where they're at.
And then lastly, I played a ton of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the DLC for that, right?
Yeah, they had released the Fantastic Four DLC. I went back and was finishing the X-Men DLC, which introduced Cable, Iceman, Gambit, and Phoenix.
Okay.
The War Room to kind of unlock them, level them up, see how they play. I usually run Thor, Black Panther, Captain America, and I was running Colossus. But I switched Colossus out for Cable because Cable's actually pretty good. Like his blasts are actually pretty good, especially for taking down bosses. So I incorporated him into my mix, went and leveled him up. Then I moved on to the Fantastic Four DLC. The difference with this DLC compared to the other ones was this actually has story DLC. The other ones
Or just like
Gone.
character packs.
they were character packs, but you had like it'll be like a kind of like a horde mode type situation. Where
Okay.
You gotta kill this boss after you take down all these enemies in this room, and then it'll be like a modifier on it. And then that'll beat that match, and then that'll take you to the next level in that particular block. And you just keep repeating that. Meet all of the requirements. Interesting thing they added was Blade too. They actually added Blade for two
Did I-
DLC.
Wait, wasn't
I
he
thought
part
he
of
was in there
that?
from the beginning, right?
No, he was a DLC for the Vampire.
Yeah, he was
DLC.
part of that vampire thing with like
Mm.
Morbius and whatnot.
Morbius and Punisher. So I usually mix them in and out of there as well. But Fantastic Four DLC is pretty good. It reminds me of the original Ultimate Alliance where Doom was actually the main protagonist. Because this one actually takes place in the Fantastic Four centric area or whatever it is. So you go through like the negative zone. You deal with Annihilus, which is like if you ever familiar with the comic books, there was a whole story called the Annihilation event.
Yeah,
Well-
never heard of it.
So I did that, play that. It's actually pretty good. Like I said, the only thing I can say bad about that game is actually the camera. But other than that, it's a really good, great game. And glad they released the DLC early because I don't think it was supposed to come out until June.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good though.
That's
nice.
all I've been playing.
That's what's up. I can pick up after that.
What you got?
I also played a lot of Bleeding Edge, mainly because I had to review it this past weekend. The review should actually go up today at some point, so I'll share that around once that hits the Escapist site. But
Yeah, man,
like
let
Jeff
us know.
said, it is very light on content, and because there are other games of its ilk out, like Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege and what's the other one? Paladins, the fake Overwatch and whatnot. Those games have had they've literally had like years, like 4 or 5 years of
Yeah.
adding content, like maps, characters, tweaks. So they're just a much more robust service at this point. Bleeding Edge literally just came out. Like they've had a couple of betas, but this was launch day when we started playing, and they have 11 characters, which isn't a whole lot, but it's not it's not a little bit, and they're really good characters. Like I can't stress this enough. Their character diversity is very, very strong. Like not only do they look really cool, they have interesting backstories. Wait, what? You got something to say about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just heard that. I just saw that.
Only because I agree with that last statement
Mhm.
only about 75%, because some
Okay.
of them have boring backstories. I read through all of them. Like the first couple ones I read, I'm like, oh, this is great. But then like if you read, for example, El Bastardo, he's just a mystery.
Yeah, that's
He did
That's
like
true.
nothing for him. And then there's somebody else. I think even Gizmo. Her story is basically she's just a talented inventor and she won all these junk machine fights, and then she wanted to move on to something more challenging. And she joined Bleeding Edge. Like that's basically her story. So there's
Okay.
a couple of them that are really, really dry, and then there's a couple of them that are super, super rich. Like
yeah, and I feel
Maeve.
like Maeve, who has a whole like soliloquy, like epic
Bro.
poem that describes like her entire life and how it led her to Bleeding Edge.
Yes.
And like
It's a
honestly, the
whole
strength
life
of that
story.
half, I feel like kind of picks up the slack of like the couple that aren't doing the most. Because the thing is, like, even though like say Gizmo, for example, her backstory isn't the most compelling,
Yeah.
her actual design kind of like tells the story. Like the cutesy helmet, but then like the exoskeleton and like the huge gun. Like she looks like she's a cool looking character, and
I'll give you that. Yeah,
probably
for
with
sure.
the exception of El Bastardo, who I think maybe looks the plainest.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone looks like really, really cool, especially
Yeah.
Damon. Like you and me were talking about this specifically. Like
Oh, Damon is.
Damon's design is like I honestly need some kind of picture or poster thing to hang up in my house somewhere of just his design because it's really, really dope.
When I first saw him, I'm like, I can't just automatically like this guy. And then everything I learned about him, I'm like, dang, I really like this guy. Like,
Yeah, because he is like legitimately the main character. Like everything that's happening, everything that all the other characters are aspiring to or doing, are directly a result of stuff that Damon has done in like their lore. And like,
Yeah.
what's also interesting is in terms of story, they're all friends.
all this is, yeah.
Like,
And a lot of this stuff is kind of his fault. Like, because I was reading it a couple times, and when he had attacked corporate America, he kind of made things crazy, and so he's trying to pull the reins back, and that's why they say he's on a path to redemption now,
Mhm.
as opposed to before when it was a path to revenge. So the Bleeding Edge, his squad of all these modified people are supposed to be like taking back control of this underground extreme body modification.
So essentially, it's like
scene.
they are the force to stop the problem he unleashed. Yet they
Yeah.
haven't really introduced any problematic characters.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
everyone who's in the cast right now, they're all actually on the same
All
team.
friends.
And when you hear them
Yeah.
talking, like before a match or whatnot, it's usually just kind of words of encouragement or like teasing back and forth. Like there's some really funny lines in there. I don't know if you guys caught this, but Nidhogg, the guitar guy, and then Makuto, the Kiwi.
I love this dude.
Like if you remember, Makuto's character picture has his like tongue sticking way out.
Yeah.
And Nidhogg asks him in a voice line, like, "You need to show me how you do that thing with your tongue." And Makuto goes, "Yeah, I need you to show me how you never ask me that question ever again." Like, it's really funny.
It's funny. Yeah.
So
man.
like, I found the characters really endearing, and then the combat is, it's just as deep. Like,
yeah.
like everyone has like a set of basic combos, but their special abilities can extend them in different ways. Like you'll do like maybe 3 or 4 hits with just the X button, but then if you mix in, like your projectile, like Damon has, projectiles after he knocks somebody away, he can hit him with all 3 stars like right at once.
Bro, those slow you down and do dot damage.
Right. And then like every single character also has like kind of nuanced tricks to them, like stuff that they don't even tell you, but you have to play with them enough to kind of figure out. Like Damon can double jump off walls, for example. So like say if Zero Cool, who's like the healer, throws up a firewall in front of him, Damon can literally jump right over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, as a soon to be Zero Cool main for me, it's like that wall is the only defense I have. So it's like firewall, and then Damien's like, okay.
Yep, just hops right over. And it's not just him. Like other characters have cool stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Cass, the bird lady, she has like a charge jump.
Oh,
like
that cage.
No. That's Maeve who has the cage.
Ooh, I love Maeve.
But yeah, I'm talking about like passive stuff that there's no icon for. Like if you just hold her jump button.
Lady.
Yeah, the harpy. If you just hold her jump button, you see her legs charge, and then she'll do a jump that's about as high as like jump pads just by herself.
Oh wow.
So one thing to know about that, if you actually go into their movesets, a lot of that stuff is actually listed, all the passives and stuff. But I just like you said, there's a couple of them that I learned while I was playing, just because I didn't go and read it. For example, Buttercup, she's the big tank girl who
Is part
turned
motorcycle.
herself into a motorcycle.
Yeah.
In the middle of her combo, you can just press and hold the X button, and she'll start charging up, and she can line up where
Right.
she wants to charge, and man, she does massive damage. 1, she's fast as heck,
True.
and 2, she has a whole bunch of health. So if you got a good healer, she can make it happen. She's
should be a
very
problem.
survivable.
She's a really good
Yeah.
tank. And the
yeah.
cool thing about tanks is that they don't take any hit stun. So like they keep swinging at you no matter what you're doing. You don't interrupt their attacks. But I mean, the counterbalance
you
to
can
that
parry
is
some of that.
well, yeah, you can parry them, but that's it. And to parry, you basically have to hold your ground. You can't move at all, and then you have to hit with the perfect timing of them hitting you.
Yeah,
Which is really difficult to do in that game.
it can be.
Yeah, I feel like the thing that
Lag
made
is
it
gonna
difficult
make that
was kind of sporadic lag, and I honestly can't tell if it's the brand new servers, like a bunch of people playing it, or the fact that everyone's at home using the internet, so everything's a little more wonky than it used to be. So like maybe
There's a
over
lot of
time
factors
we'll see
involved.
if that kind of irons itself out. But generally speaking, I did have way more games that didn't have that issue than did, and in those instances, like the parrying functions fairly well. So I actually enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I think the guitar dude was really cool. I like that stun he has, the way he throws out the projectile that
Yeah.
goes out.
Oh, it's his guitar. He actually throws it, and when it first, and I was reading this one last night. When it first hits the enemy, it slows them down, and it works like a boomerang. But if it hits them a second time, it actually stuns them.
Yeah, on the way back.
Yeah,
if it hits
on
them,
the way back.
it's a
Yeah,
stun.
Yeah,
so
so
I always initiated with his slide in that puts fire on the ground.
put that fire on them.
Slides
Boom,
past
boom.
him, blows the fire out. Then I automatically put out the guitar while I'm hitting him, so that way when it comes back, it stuns him again, and I can start my combo.
So the cool thing about when he spits fire, and I was reading, I'm telling y'all, I've been studying this game.
Yeah, like there's stuff
that
to figure out in that game.
Yeah, that fire move doesn't kill. It only has a percentage. So
Yeah.
it's the most effective when someone's at full health.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really helpful. Yeah,
especially on the tanks. It eats away at the
especially the
really fight.
tanks. 100%.
And the other thing is, each character being that deep and intricate, you then start mixing the other members of your
The
team
mods.
and the mods, because all those things can synergize with one another. Like if a certain character is like what's his name, Kalev, the snake who's basically using his own corpse.
His own corpse. He's
Like
funny.
he can put a hex on people that makes it so that if you hit that person, you gain lifesteal or whatnot. Like you,
I got
regain
that
health.
one, man.
But then
That
the
one
other
works.
healer, Miko, can have base attacks give her health. So basically, you can double that and have her basically become sort of a tank if you curse the people who she's hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time she's hitting you, she's regaining her health. So
Exactly.
there's just a lot of synergy that's possible, and a lot of counterplay when you see what the other team is using and whatnot. And like, as that meta forms, like the game will only get better.
As long as the team balances it properly once the top stats have been established, the optimize has been established.
Right, and I can't imagine they'd shy away from that. Like Ninja Theory, they haven't made a bad game as far as I can tell. Like they have a fairly decent catalog. They made a Heavenly Sword back on the PS3.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, they made
That was a launch title, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a launch game for them.
Mm-hmm.
They had Odyssey to the West, which I don't think a lot of people played, but the people who have played it are
They
like,
about that life.
yeah, they love that game.
Okay.
They made DMC, which is one of my favorite games of last generation. Just point blank period. It's like the best action game I've played in a very, very long time. Played through it like 4 times straight. And then of course Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which was also very amazing. So I have the utmost confidence in their ability to keep that game fresh and interesting and, you know, balanced.
I hope so.
But other than that, I've been playing One Piece Pirate Warriors 4.
Now, I know Sigma, and Sigma hates any anime game.
That's not entirely true.
That's very close to being true.
The thing I hate about anime games is that they don't do anything new. Like they really take the license and then they apply it to a thing that they've been doing for a long time. And the thing that they've been doing for a long time is kind of bare bones. It isn't that great. Like if they want to make a fighter game, for the most part, it's a 3D arena fighter where like you're at the back of the character and they're just dashing at each other, and then you get animations for all their super moves and whatnot. But like the actual depth of gameplay is never really that interesting, at least to me. Like that's
Right, okay.
how all the Naruto games have been. That's how some of the One Piece games, the My Hero game that just came out is like that. Like it's a shortcut. But then the other half of that are the Musou games, like the Dynasty Warriors clones. That again, it's the same team, Omega Force. Yeah, it's Omega Force. They make Dynasty Warriors, but then when they're not making Dynasty Warriors, they take a license and they put it on top of Dynasty Warriors.
Didn't they do Hyrule Heroes or something like
Yes,
that?
they also did Hyrule Warriors as well.
Hyrule Warriors.
So the thing is, there's nothing different about One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. It is just Dynasty Warriors. You fight thousands of enemies, the flashy anime moves, you run from area to area. The gameplay is the gameplay. Like, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's One Piece. And One Piece is a really good anime. So I kind of find myself getting sucked into just the spectacle. Because
Oh my gosh.
Because another thing that I dislike about anime games is they tend to just retell the same story, you know.
Yeah.
And for the most part, most animes, they have a set number of arcs. You've seen them a million times, and you don't necessarily need to see them again. One Piece, uniquely, is massively lengthy. Like, Jeff, do you know how many arcs there are in One Piece right now? It's over like 30-something, right?
Yeah, there's about 907 episodes now.
Yeah, that's like 900 plus actual episodes, but like in terms of just story arcs,
Nah, I couldn't even count. There's a
like
lot.
there's so much like there's years and years and years worth of history. And yes, I binged it in a relatively short amount of time, but that's a lot of stuff to keep in your head. And when you play a game like this that just retells you the story, you get reminded, like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, so that's how, okay, I remember this, okay, that's cool. Like, it's a nostalgia hit. And like they do a really good job of focusing on the most important things. Like, they don't go through like the very beginning where he was on that little boat and he met Kobe, who was a kid, and like, because that story is kind of whack to go back to once you know where they end up. So like they kind of gloss over most of that, and they take you right to like the most important big events, and they show you those in first the battle that you fight, because like you're in the heat of it, you're fighting a bunch of people. You remember in the show, like, oh, this guy split off to go fight this guy over there. This guy split off to fight that guy over there. And you
so
can
you lose
see
that
those
party
fights. Yeah, your party member will be in those
go
fights. And you can run over there and be like, okay, I got to help him out because he was losing the fight, which didn't happen in the show, but like you get to engage with it. And if you happen to be playing that character, because there are a ton of characters you can jump into, you get to like pretend like, okay, I'm the one who's in the fight or whatever. So like they'll show you how all those big battles end with like cutscenes. They'll show you how the final battle ends in cutscenes, and you get the same feeling you did when you're like, oh wow, that was crazy how he did this and did that. Like the sad moments, like when they lose the ship, or when Luffy goes to Gear 2 for the first time. Like they recreate that stuff, and you get the same sense of like awe and wow and emotion, and like that. Honestly, that's worth something. You know what I mean? Like if you're a One Piece fan,
exactly the appeal of all of these anime games. That's exactly the appeal of it.
But I mean, I can't say that I can't say that I would get that, because I love My Hero Academia, for example.
Okay.
But it's a newer show. So if I were to start playing that game and they retell me that story, like I don't feel like it's gonna hit the same. Like, yes, it's a cool moment, but like it's not. I don't know. I feel like the endearment of those characters and whatnot is just not at that level yet. Like I feel like One Piece is in a unique position to recreate that feeling because it's kind of been so long for most people. Yeah. Like because like Jeff, for example, probably watched the first episode of One Piece way longer ago than I did. So for him to go back and see that would probably mean even more to him than it did to me, who watched it like maybe a couple years ago.
There's 30 arcs. They're on the 31st arc.
31st arc, okay.
Jeez.
And this story basically goes all the way up to the most recent one, but since the most recent one isn't concluded, at that point it does an original story. Like they kind of do their own version of what this most recent arc is gonna play out as. So that's also very interesting.
Okay.
Did you get to finish it, or?
I haven't gotten to the very end yet. I did play some of the 2-player co-op with Kia though, just to kind of test it out. And it's cool that they let you do that, but it runs like garbage once because like there's already like thousands of people on like these kind of big maps. If we separate from each other, there's like 150 enemies over here, 150 enemies over there, like all these particle effect stuff. Is like the game just slows to a crawl.
Screens?
Yeah, it's like it splits the screen in half to do it too.
Oh, okay.
And it's already pretty busy on the screen, so like it's kind of a mess.
I remember in the old Dynasty Warrior games, I want to say I think it was Dynasty Warriors 5 on the original Xbox, is when they had a split screen, they came together. If we were close to each other, the split screen goes away, and it's just one big screen, and it was a lot easier to see. And I feel like that helped load up everything a little bit easier when we were so close. Now, on top of that, whenever we both activated our special move, like everything would stop. You'd see everything in slow motion, and they kind of revolve the camera, do a little Matrix action, right? And then we both just unleash hell, and it was one of the coolest moments in that version of Dynasty Warriors. And I think it's a kind of a shame that they didn't keep that going, because I thought that was an excellent element.
What do you mean, the fact that they combined the screens?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they would choose to do. Maybe because you said Dynasty Warriors 5. There's no way I can tell when that came out, but I'm assuming it was like online play a big thing then.
No, really.
Okay, so that might be the reason. Like maybe they stopped caring that much about that aspect because
couch co-op.
Yeah, because you can play with other people online, and then everyone gets their own screen, and they don't have to worry about it. So
that's a shame that only Nintendo cares about couch co-op.
That's only because they really hate the internet, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Other than that, we played some Resident Evil Resistance for Free For All Friday, just this past Friday, and it's a beta. It's apparently supposed to be connected to Resident Evil 3, so we jumped on it because it was like the hot new ticket item, and honestly, it could use some work in some places, but the concept is fun. Like, I get why people like Dead by Daylight and
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Friday the 13th and stuff like that. Like that asynchronous multiplayer where one side, has objectives and the other side is throwing stuff in front of them and trying to stop them. Like, it has merit. It was what Evolve tried to do but failed miserably, mainly because either people didn't get it then or they were completely antagonistic. Like, you really didn't have other objectives other than fighting the other person the whole time. And some people, I guess, never really liked that. But it just felt early goings. It feels like the mastermind, the person who's the antagonist, is a little too strong. Like, they can kind of spam, enemies and zombies and stuff at a alarming clip that really doesn't take any kind of strategizing. It's kind of just throw whatever you can in the way, and then eventually they'll be slowed down enough and they'll deplete their resources enough, and then throw the tyrant out there that he just mops them all up. So yeah, that aspect I feel like needs a whole lot of tweaking. Did anybody get to try the mastermind mode? Because I played it once after we got off, since we were just doing the survivor one.
I do think it does have a little bit too much resources. For some of the matches we played, there were people spawning zombies on top of these. Like, you just kill right on top of that, like back to back to back.
Yeah.
To back. The idea, like you said, of it is really cool, and I think when we did kind of get the hang of it, it did become a little bit easier. I do get the tyrant being as much of a threat as it is, but maybe they can kind of like work on the timer on it, where he can only be out for a certain amount of time. It's already like that, but it just seems like he's out there.
Yeah, it seems like he's out for a while.
Especially when you spawn him in like those closed areas.
So what's special about the tyrant?
So if you're not familiar with Resident Evil, the tyrants are like nemesis. They're these huge, bulking bioweapons, super strong. They're usually made to control the smaller bioweapons like the zombies and whatnot.
So like zombie generals.
Yes.
Got you.
They're a lot more durable, a lot stronger, and a lot smarter.
And when you apply one out when you deploy one out as a mastermind, you take direct control of them. So you walk through the hallways. You have a bunch of abilities, like one that scans the area and shows you exactly where the players are, one that can bum rush people. Yeah, what was that called? Pulverize. Yeah, where you just you grab somebody by the face and then you just crush their face in your hand, and it's just an instant kill if you catch somebody with it.
Yeah, from what I could tell, there wasn't a way for you to like, just like with Dead by Daylight, you could do like a pallet stun or a flashlight stun. It really seemed like when he captured you, you're just dead.
Yeah, like you just don't want to be touched by him, and he moves relatively quick. Like the players can run faster than him, but because of the way everything is like tight corridors, like quick corners and stuff, like
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like it's difficult to kind of just sprint straight away. Like you got to turn a corner, and he just lumbering at you like mad quick and whatnot. So
I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So when we played it, I actually played a lot of matches as the mastermind, and I won every single one. And it was and here's the thing, because I just get so much more prep time than the survivors. So I know what door they're going to come out of, so I just spam the crap out of that door. Oh, look, you guys are going down a long corridor. I don't have Tyrant up, but I can turn this camera into a turret and just gun you all down. And then they're all in disarray. There isn't like you take out the person who has the mass healing, and after that you just really just go to town. Like it was just really easy. Like for a while Jeff was like sprinting on ahead, and I had a few survivors who did that, which was fine because traps are inexpensive. So it's like, okay, trap there, take control of a zombie, go after everybody else, because there's no real healer. You must get healing items. So all this damage is happening, and it's just like, okay, I'm just picking them off one by one, really.
And the thing is, that works.
For doing damage I think they should get points if they kill somebody. Just getting points for a zombie doing damage, I don't think.
Oh yeah, where like your time goes down.
Yeah.
Like if a zombie just slaps you, your time goes down. But you have to put in so much more effort to get that time back that the mastermind is already working on something else by the time you finish this one. Like it is so unforgiving if you aren't working together in the most efficient way possible, because only a few times that I have survivors get to that maze where they have to raise and lower the like the platforms. You just put traps right there. You just put traps right there by the
right
switch
in front of the thing.
Yeah, right. There is nothing stopping me from just planting it right in front of that switch. So the moment that somebody tries, first of all, they're going to hit the wrong button. they're not going to protect their person. Then I got some zombies, and then it's just a snowball after that.
What do you think?
So
about,
it feels like
okay.
the real masterminds are the survivors who actually win. That's what it sounds like.
It's not in their favor at all.
What do you think about them? So the mastermind gets prep time. He can set up his traps in that room. Once the survivors enter that room, he can no longer set anything in that room.
I think that's a better.
I'm gonna have to disagree on that one, only because I feel like that gets so are you saying if a survivor or the survivors? Because of one survivor, because you could have 4 survivors, and then 4 survivors in one room. That's 4 rooms that the mastermind can't do anything in. I think all 4 would be a little bit better. Okay, so if there's I like that a little better. If all 4 of them are in a room, then the mastermind can't
use that room.
Can't use that.
How about rather than doing it room by room, make it so that you as a player can have a preset version of the room, like the map. Like you say, okay, this is how I want my map layout to be. And then when you load in and you search for people to torment, you just select from your preset thing. So like that's already set up. And then like rather than having all the options once the game starts, you only have a couple of little tweaks you can make during the actual gameplay. So it's like, this is my trap room, and maybe I can add an additional trap. Maybe I can throw in a tyrant for specific points during the game, and then that's it.
So you have everything preset.
Yeah, like most of it is already pre-planned.
I can see that.
Like
and have limited resources.
Yeah, like much more limited during the actual game.
I like limiting the resources, or their mastermind needs more of a delay when he's putting things out. Because the way you could just, you killed a zombie, but I'm just gonna bring that zombie right back on top of another zombie, take control of that zombie, and then just go to town because everybody's here. Like the gang's all here. Let's go. Like
I think it would be cool to like be in your menus before you even queue up for a game and be like, okay, I want to make this map. This is all the traps I can use. Yeah.
Because the thing that I feel is missing from here is like that cat and mouse feeling where like someone is trying to outsmart, like your team of 4 is trying to outsmart the mastermind, whereas he's really like just throwing fodder at you the whole way through, and then you're just doing your best to fight your way to the end of it, and like it's not really methodical.
Yeah, it sounds like the mastermind doesn't have to be a mastermind at all.
Nope. Exactly, like it's
and that's why
a mastermind is somebody who's gonna outsmart you, not just
overpower you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Get you through, quick thinking and outsmarting you and making you make mistakes. And I think that's where I'd be a little bit more keen. Like if you could I mean, it's kind of that way where you could close doors, but like if you close off an area, like raise a platform or something and separate 2 people, and now they got to go this.
That would be cool.
Yeah, like that'd be dope.
I like that.
Yeah,
and that could be something that you did have control over, like maybe over the fly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I've been playing for the week.
Oh wow, we went a long time.
Yeah, because we've been playing a lot.
Me and oh snaps, yeah, that's a lot. Okay, let me go next. I played PSO with Jeff. He didn't mention that, but he did. We played Bleeding Edge together. It was a lot of fun. I'm just like I said, I've been studying this game now, and I'm just getting into. I keep forgetting his name, but the tank that rolls around, the big dude,
Chubby Samoa,
the New Zealand dude.
Yeah, the New Zealand dude.
Makoto.
I can't remember. Makoto. Thank you.
Or Makuto.
I think it's Makuto. I'll look it up a little bit. But I haven't played as him yet. But I was reading his abilities last night, and I'm like, man, this dude can do a lot. I was really impressed.
He's got like a Shoryuken.
Bro, well, so on top of that, this dude, he has 2 stances, right? He has a healing stance where he's just constantly healing himself, just for no reason. And then he's got a speed stance and more of an armor stance where this man is just moving. Now, on top of those different stances, his other abilities, like change because of the stance. For example, he can heal people around him, which is wild. I didn't even think that he was gonna have a group heal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then one of his ults is pretty much an immortality field where he makes him and everybody around him invincible and I think faster too. So I'm just really impressed, just like you were saying before, about the complexity and the diversity of these characters. I'd have to say, right now, Maeve is my favorite. It's the old witch lady. She's an excellent rogue trickster, kind of like. And I just got some more mods for her last night that I'm super excited to play today and check out. So yeah, so I've been playing that. Of course, Animal Crossing. And Animal Crossing.
You've been showing us some of the stuff you've been spending your time making in that game. It's actually very impressive.
Bro, so okay, the first week, right after we talked about it last week, I had just gotten started, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm pretty clever for coming up with this and with that and stuff like that." And then, the internet finally releases what everyone else has been working on, and these cats are doing some crazy things with Animal Crossing. Just the designs. Like I said before, you give them a pixel grid, people are gonna go to town. All right. I'm trying to think of, like, there's a lot of inappropriate stuff that people have put on there, right?
And it makes it doubly funny because it's in Animal Crossing.
Because it's in Animal Crossing, like, y'all just got to see it. But in real talk, it's really nice to have this game during this quarantine. As an extrovert myself, I don't get to see a lot of people face to face anymore, unless I'm going to the supermarket, and it's a little rough. So one, having friends like y'all definitely helps. You know what I mean? And gaming with our squad, especially Gentle Guard, shout out to them. Everyone checking up on everybody, it feels good. So I'm like really grateful to my gaming community for everybody supporting each other, and Animal Crossing has been helping with that. Just jumping on different people's islands and giving them fruits and just run around. Yo, me, Ed Gaber, and Miss Kitty Duval were playing tag the other day with the Nets. It was so funny, bro. And look,
MVP right here.
So
MVP
no,
right here.
I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that in a second. But
okay.
The thing about playing tag was we kind of tapped into like our inner child with that. I said we were playing tag. This boy was playing hide and seek, right? So he went and hid and just stood there for the longest time. Pretty sure it was behind one of the buildings, but I could never see it because you can't really change the angle.
Yeah.
But it was funny because when he was first he had his net out, and the whole thing is if you have the net, you're it. And someone has to slap you with the net, and then that's the tag, right? Mm-hmm. So I was hiding for a little bit, and then I saw him, and I just ran next to him to see him start chasing me, and man, it was just running in circles. I was running out of the bench. I was like, "Yeah, where are you going? Where are you going?"
Like,
it was so stupid.
What's the name of that song with like?
Oh, the Benny Hill song.
Thank you.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yo, I almost gave up on trying to figure out what that was. I'm not gonna lie.
but yeah, like
that's exactly what it was.
It was just pure, just random fun. Like,
I was crying laughing because this boy could not catch me around the bench a couple times, and I was running around trees, and I was hiding behind trees, popping out and stuff like that. It was funny. It was a lot of fun to just do fun stuff like that. Let's see. On top of that, Final Fantasy 14. I gotta say, first of all, shout out to Cocoa Butter, the group on Facebook. Love y'all. But one of the guys in there, unfortunately, has contracted coronavirus. I wanted to, yeah. So he kind of gave us a post last night, and he said, "Hey guys, I'm going to the hospital. I got high hopes. No pre-existing conditions. So we're just gonna see, how this rolls out." So many prayers and good vibes to our friend in Cocoa Butter for sure,
and everybody who's dealing.
Of course. Yeah.
My girlfriend's brother-in-law actually came down with it, but I think he's on the mend now.
Okay. So yeah, I didn't mean to drag it down to that note, but I felt like it was important to mention that, especially in our gaming circles. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's basically what I've been playing. I did a little bit of Smash too, but I don't want to tell y'all what I've been working on. It's not ready for this week either. It's not ready for this week. It's gonna be ready for next week.
Alrighty then.
But yeah, look out for that.
Okay. So how about you, gamer? What you been gaming on?
All right. So the new DLC for Borderlands 3, Gun,
That's
Love,
right.
and Tentacles.
Oh yeah, I'm actually really
dropped.
interested to hear how that is.
That trailer
Okay.
was crazy.
So, I have not finished it, but here's what I have seen. Gage is in it. Gage is not playable. But you do get to see kind of the relationship between Wainwright Jacobs and Sir Hammerlock. I actually think, me personally, is really well written, because you have Sir Hammerlock, who is all about adventure, hunting, the chase. He's about all that. And Wainwright is like, I can just sit in front of this fire with a nice glass of whiskey, and that's an amazing day for me. So on paper, they seem like they're complete opposites, but as you go through it, you really get to see the okay, Vault Hunter, be quiet, but I'm really trying to make sure this is perfect for such and such. Or, hey, Vault Hunter, don't tell Alistair or don't tell Hammerlock, but I really want you to do this, because this night, the thing you constantly hear is this night just has to be perfect for the other person. And it's like,
It's cute.
It's supposed to be very Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
And then you have the tentacles.
Exactly.
And then you have the
They need
tentacle.
to remind it it's Borderlands.
Exactly. It's like, okay, we're going to give you this wonderful, beautiful marriage, but remember, you're still playing a Borderlands game, so things have to be a little bit screwed up.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. The legendaries in this game, though, blow everything that you get from the Malawan raid out of the water.
What? Like that?
Yes. Because also, I'm playing the DLC on true Vault Hunter mode.
Oh, snap.
So not only is the game harder, but you do get better loot. I need
you to be streaming this, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, definitely. There is a Jacob sniper rifle that, when it does, so there used to be a grenade called the bore, where it would bore through the enemies, and that was really OP against the large enemies, I think it was the Grave Robber or something like that. The big beast on Eden 6.
Yeah.
But the sniper rifle, when it does a critical hit, does the boring effect, but it also ricochets against other enemies and does incendiary damage.
That's a lot.
And Mose has an ability where her shields instantly recharge. They start to immediately recharge when you get a critical hit, on top of Mose's already insane shield build. So with one magazine of this sniper rifle, I can have about 63,000 shield.
That's ridiculous.
And it's amazing.
It's a lot of shield.
So I've been playing that.
Wow.
Another game that I've been playing a lot of with Blue is I've been playing so much more GTA.
I forgot to mention that. I'm so sorry.
I was surprised you didn't. I'm playing so much more GTA, and I don't know, and I hope that I haven't talked his ears off about this, but I've constantly been going to Blue okay, so here's the most efficient way that I see us doing this. First, we do this, we make this CEO thing, we do this, we drop this off, I disband this, you go make the MC club, join me, we go split up. Wait, are we selling or are we doing resupply? We're doing resupply. Okay, so I'm going to go to the other side of the map, go get a cargo bomb, and then you go start it off over here. And then after that, okay, hold on, I got another promotion thing going. Oh, wait, and it's just a constant stream, and all this is we got money coming in, getting new businesses. I'm actually seeing some stuff in the game I haven't seen before. I had to defend my business, and apparently that happens more often for some people. But man, when you lose those business battles, it hurts.
Yeah,
Really, really hurts.
100%. Because you've been working on something for a couple hours, or if you haven't sat there for hours, you over a couple of days, you're like, okay, I'm gonna get the stock up, gonna get the stock up, gonna get the stock up, and you're almost ready to sell, and then the pleas come, and you die off some dumb stuff, and all of that work is gone.
Yeah, like
And
the
you gotta start
business
right
is
back over.
gone. The only thing that you retain are the upgrades for that business, but the business essentially starts from zero, and that hurt.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely feel the feel the pain.
But I mean, how do you not have that happen? Like, what's
so
is it like a risk versus reward thing where you have to like kind of cash in a thing at a certain point before the cops get you, or?
So, and I looked this up. The longer you are in the game, there is a random chance that you will encounter a battle. For every business, you can buy security upgrades that will decrease that chance.
Yeah.
But you make more money in, like, the time goes faster in game versus off game. So the more you play, the faster everything is racking up. But because of that, the more that random number generator is going to go off. And if it hits that number where, like, let's just say it's a D20, and if it gets above a 15, then you're doing a business battle. If you have a security guard, then instead of it a 15, you'll have to hit like a 17. But it's still rolling every single time you finish something. So what happens is, like, I'll be starting something and I'll leave my nightclub saying, okay, I want to get my motorcycle gang together. And it's like, you got a business battle. It's like, okay, guys, help me out here. Everyone go to this point because I can't die right now. If I die, this whole thing is over. So can you guys go and do that? And it's really nice to see, like, everybody, okay, send a picture. Where are we going to meet up? Okay, change your targeting priority. Like, it was some legitimate, like, the game.
We had about 6 people in the lobby yesterday. And we all just kind of flocked to the spot. We're like, gamer, you stay back.
Yeah.
Getting hit. You know what I'm saying? We got like $1 million of stock there. Like, if you go down, we all turn it off the game right now. So
yeah, like it was seriously at that level. And people are like, okay, I'm bringing in the Avenger. Like, let me go. Like, okay, guys, I've got rocket launchers and everything, because it's like, I just can't die. And then after this, it was, okay, I have to drive all this stuff to my bunker. But mind you, the beauty, and I seriously mean the beauty of this, all this is happening, I'm still making money. And
the nightclub is running stuff, and other things are resupplying.
So next thing I've been playing a lot of is actually Final Fantasy 14. So there's a common saying that you are a combination of, I think it's like the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So I guess after a while, I'm just going to be picking up little pieces of each of you. And right now, I have blue in my deck, because now I'm going through Final Fantasy 14. Like, man, I like this. No, that doesn't really look right. No, that color isn't really right. Versus what I normally do, which is just like, I just care about hitting things really hard. But now for some reason, it's like, oh, now I care about looking a little bit prettier because, oh, they want to go take these pictures and whatnot. So I've been doing a little thing with that. And Chibs has also been helping me with just leveling, because she's a significant fountain of knowledge when it comes to that.
Yeah, she's like
video game.
Chibs is like a Final Fantasy 14 goddess at this point. Like, she's got everything maxed out, and she's just working on some aesthetic goals right now.
And the last thing that I've been playing a lot of is, just like Blue, Animal Crossing, but more so my wife has been, oh my goodness. So my wife is what I would consider a hardcore casual gamer. She plays a casual game, but she is into it. There is no completion but 100% completion. And she just yelled across. She just yelled that, so she heard that. And I am serious. It's gotten to the point where it's like, okay, so we're doing things. Like, I had to go help her out with something, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go change the color of the house, sweetheart. Yeah, all right, cool. And then next thing you know, I'm coming back, I've got flowers laid off in a path. She's making tarantula farming islands and things like that, like levels of things I never would have thought of. But here she is just going to town, and I'm just like, That's why you're the woman I married.
Yeah, I was about to say that y'all sound exactly
it sounds
right for
very
each other.
similar behavior from what I've seen.
Oh,
yeah.
So yeah, and again, it's like I actually just figured out that there is, similar to what the picture that Blue showed. You can make patterns. You can take a huge picture and it'll be pixelized, but there's websites that will break it off into sections for you.
Yeah.
And then you can have that whole picture,
put it all together
wherever it is that you want. So it's the things that people have been able to do in this game. I've seen Steven Universe, I've seen B-Stars,
I
seen
saw Fullmetal Alchemist last night.
Oh, I saw
did
My
the
Hero
intro
Academia. Like, there's just like All Might. More specifically, people have made like the All Might jacket in Animal Crossing. Like, oh, and the other thing, I have to mention this. I hope you guys have seen the latest fan-made video of Isabelle and Doom Guy. It's a nice little video where it starts off with Isabelle being thrown in the air, just happily, and then the camera pans down to Doom Guy, and then demons start yelling, and then you just have Isabelle and Doom Guy just staring at each other, and then Doom Guy just holds Isabelle up to his helmet, leans in, and just mouths, like the subtitles just say "rip," and then you see like this weird expression over Isabelle's face, and it just
she gets bad serious.
She just goes "rip and tear," and then hold on, I'm not done. Then Doom Guy throws Isabelle up in the air. Camera goes back to Doom Guy pulling out a shotgun, cocking it. Isabelle landing on Doom Guy's shoulder, almost slipping off.
She swings around his neck.
yes, swings around his neck, and then next thing you know, Isabelle one punch man's a demon's head clean off, and Doom Guy pulls out the shotgun, and in the Animal Crossing, and with the Doom Eternal font, it says Animal Crossing, and with the Animal Crossing font, it says Doom Eternal. And never in my life have I wanted Isabelle in Doom any more than I do right now at this moment. give me Isabelle in Doom, or give me Doom Guy in Animal Crossing. I want a Doom Guy resident.
The internet is a very strange place, to say the least.
Many relationships.
But does that?
So yeah, that's what I've been playing. Yes.
Okay, great stuff. So that's gonna do it for what we've been playing. We're gonna skip Super Smash Bros recap for this week. We're running a little long, so we're gonna go straight into our topics. First up is just a quick update. We were talking about those rumors from Konami about a new Silent Hills, as well as those rumors involving Sony about them possibly buying some IPs from Konami to make new versions of the games. Konami basically put a stop to all that. They came out and said, no, whatever you're hearing about Sony buying Silent Hills or about new Silent Hills games being made, period, that's not what we're trying to do with Silent Hills. Like, there's something coming in the Silent Hills franchise. It's not whatever you heard. So what that tells me is it's probably not going to be new Silent Hill games, but more than likely maybe new movies or new TV shows or something like that. Because Konami still owns the licenses. They sell it to this guy, to that guy. Like, they want to invest in the stuff they own, just not in video games, because Konami apparently doesn't like making video games anymore. So that's kind of disappointing, but that's kind of how that shaked out.
Yeah.
But any thoughts on that, guys?
Just disappointing.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that they're not doing it when they really don't want to. Because I think that would be even worse than saying, no, we don't want to do it, we're not going to do it.
Well, I mean, because the scenario would have been they didn't do it. They just gave it to someone who did. And in this case, they're like, no, we don't touch our stuff. We're going to do whatever we want to do with it. And it's just nobody really wants what they want to do with it.
Yeah, I would rather give it to somebody else who's going to do the series justice.
Right.
As opposed to just putting something out for the sake of putting it out.
Money.
Yeah, money.
Okay.
So, moving off of that, Blue, do you want to introduce this next topic?
Bro, okay, so I had to do a lot of research because this stuff is different for me, and that's what I love about gaming. You know what I'm saying? NASCAR race draws a record TV audience for an eSports event. Yo, So obviously, coronavirus is getting in the way of people gathering for NASCAR. So what did they say they was gonna do? Put it online. Do an esports version. These guys drew 903,000 viewers
Yeah, the
on
highest.
Fox Sports.
Yeah, the
Wait,
highest,
the
for,
highest in
for a televised
history,
esport event.
Yeah,
Wow.
second place. Like, so before this, it was Mortal Kombat back in 2016 when they had a Machina. I can't never say the name of
Machinima?
that. Machinima, thank you.
Machinima.
I can never say it right. They had a Machinima event, and that drew only 700. I say only, right?
Right.
770,000 viewers. So they did almost 200, almost 150,000 more viewers than that. Now, it's super cool because these are the actual drivers driving their own cars in this race.
Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what makes it so exciting.
Exactly. So last week was the first week, right? Last weekend was the first weekend. I think they're doing another one this week, but everybody involved loves this, and I feel like a lot of people are opening up to esports being something serious again.
Right,
So
like this is a definite like foot in the door to making people understand kind of what the draw is.
100%. If you want to talk about reaching outside your immediate network, this is exactly what we're talking about. These cats, the cool thing is too, right? There's one driver in particular, they said he felt some kind of way about it, but he wasn't really upset. But he had never really played the game before. He had an hour to practice with it before the stream. So while he did do amazing, he had a good time, but he was like, I want to play it more now. Right? People are suggesting, and some of the drivers actually did it. People are suggesting that each driver does their own individual stream. So you get to not only see on Fox Sports like the whole thing, but then you can go to Twitch and be in the cockpit with your favorite driver as he's talking smack. He's just hanging out. He's in his casual clothes, laughing, talking like that, bro. That's super cool, especially because it's your favorite driver driving his car in a race and something that he's serious about and he knows about. You know what I mean? Now, on the technical side, and I say technical, talking to the sport of NASCAR, some of the officiators were saying that there was a lot more cautions. Now, I had to look up this term. A caution is when there's a hazard on the track. Mm-hmm. So either there's an accident, there's some kind of debris, there's rain or something like that. There was about 10 cautions in the 100-lap race, and 10 or 11, and they said they want to reduce that to 5 or 4 to make it a little bit more realistic and not as invasive on these drivers who don't know how to drive, right? So yeah, that was the only thing. But other than that, man, I see nothing but positive momentum for this venture, and I'm excited about it. I think I'm gonna watch NASCAR. Esports NASCAR.
Yeah, I want to check it out. I want to see kind of how that functions. Another cool thing that I saw in the article was like a lot of people who watched it felt like they couldn't tell the difference. Like when they were looking at the actual virtual race, they were like, "Oh, it looks just like the." I couldn't really tell the difference in points, and I'm like, that kind of makes me feel like, so then why even risk the lives of these drivers by having them literally drive 200 miles an hour amongst a bunch of other cars driving 200 miles an hour? Like this sounds like a possible alternative to just making the sport just as interesting, but like 1,000% safer.
So, it's crazy that you say that because the Xfinity broadcast had done, I think it was 993,000. So this is when it was live and it was real, right? This esports first weekend was only 90,000 short. Only 90,000 short of spectatorship. So I mean, with a whole bunch less risk, you know what I mean? Oh, you can still sell that ad space.
The difference is it's a different skill set, though.
It is.
Just because somebody might be a really good driver in real life doesn't mean that's going to translate over.
100%. And a lot of the drivers.
I slightly disagree, but continue.
Go ahead. It's very simple. It does. Like you said, the guy had an hour before that, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that great.
He don't play video games.
Yeah, he's been driving all his life, so he knows his way around a race car. So if let's say they did say we're just gonna do online only, virtual reality in a cockpit, that might be a little different than using a controller.
I don't think they
If
were
it was
using
like-
controllers. Is that
They're probably using
is that
the
what they were
pro
doing?
wheels and the
I mean,
pedals.
like Oculus Rift type situation. I mean, like
Well, so
VR?
here's what I'm thinking. So both of you are right, both Jeff and Sigma. Sigma, that it's not that difficult, and Jeff, that it is a different skill set. But it's going to be the interface that's going to bridge that gap. And though I don't believe that those details were released,
Yeah, I don't think
I
they
do
said one way or the other.
what I can assume is that these gentlemen were in their, from as far as they were concerned, they were in their cars. They were whatever stick shift they were using, steering wheel, what have you. Heck, like I've seen virtual reality rigs where you are actually like vibrating with wherever it is that you are.
There's that particular chair that actually moves with like force feedback. Like as the car is doing a thing, it'll like shift like your seat and like actually rumble and stuff like that. Like, I'm assuming they got stuff like that. But
exactly.
I could be wrong.
And if they're putting that kind of money into something like that, and it gets this big, like, and where it just reaches the most people, because I don't really care about NASCAR, but now that I see this, I'm like, oh, okay, that looks pretty good. I might peek in on that. And then we go to like, you have to worry about, well, there'll be crashes in the game, but no, real people aren't going to be hurt.
And people like watching crashes in racing
in real life.
Yeah.
So that's why the real thing is going to stick around. That's why.
But I mean, if it looks just as like think of like special effects in movies. Like if it looks just as real, you can still get the excitement, but then know in your head, okay, these people are fine.
Yeah, but if you're able to show up and watch the Avengers fight in real life, you'd pay a whole bunch for that. I'm just saying, like, you can know something's real and you can know something's fake. You know what I mean? Those are two different experiences.
Okay.
I was going to say one of the biggest draws is that these are professional drivers playing it virtually. So I don't think that this esports platform is going to take over NASCAR and they're just never going to do physical stuff anymore. I don't think that's going to be the case at all. I think it would be an amazing supplement to what they already got going.
I just got an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever heard of the show Noob versus Pro?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I have not. What's that?
So it's essentially that. So you have people typically like fantasy league or something like that going against like actual like professional athletes and something. I could see something like this where you have someone who's been playing Gran Turismo, Need for Speed or whatever, and then they play against like an actual.
And I'm 100% positive YouTube videos have been made doing exactly that.
Yeah, but like I can definitely see like some kind of like esports show to that to that effect where you have and I'm just throwing this out there, but Ninja steps away from Fortnite and goes into NASCAR and challenges freaking Dale.
Did Jeff Gordon still race? I don't know.
He's just a famous name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but just throwing that
Dale
out
Eckert
there.
Jr.
Because sorry, I'm going to be throwing a bit of old YouTube drama, but the whole Logan Paul versus KSI fights, the only thing that was just for press and publicity. I can imagine something like that happening with this. Hopefully, not as stupid.
But I do want to bring up another issue. I feel like the fact that all sports have kind of been canceled, like we just heard news that ESPN is going to start running like sports movies in place of actual sports because they have no content. But the fact that let me finish real quick. The fact that there are no sports going on, NASCAR was in a unique position to pivot because you can get a simulation to be that close to the real thing. Like you sit and you control and you can kind of recreate that. Is there a way to do that for like anything else, like for basketball or Madden simulation game?
Since you did mention that, I did hear before the NASCAR thing. This was like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. One of the teams was actually finishing the rest of their season. A couple teams were finishing the rest of their season. Actually, I think it was either 2K or NBA Live. I think it was 2K.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. I do remember hearing about. I think it was no, I remember hearing about and they have been there's a lot of sports celebrities kind of looking at their own games now and like this and saying maybe I'll stream this.
Right.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. You know, and this is what I love about technology. This is what I love about the internet. This is what I love about gaming, is that we can have things like this and we can be this kind of creative and have this kind of what is the word? Oh my gosh, it was like legit on the tip of my tongue. But I'll just say connectivity.
So I found it. It says the Phoenix Suns made the announcement yesterday that they would be playing the Sun season EA 2K20. What's more, they'll be streaming the game live on Twitch, so fans can watch as they take on the Dallas Mavericks.
That's super cool.
Wow.
So I mean,
cool.
like a basketball game clearly isn't the same as like a basketball player playing the game. So that's a little further removed. But like, what if? I mean, not to say that this is what I would want to happen, but what if VR gets to the point, because like the Valve Index are gloves that really control your hands. What if you get to the point where like the NBA player can be like in a thing and then all his movement is translated to a virtual court? No injuries, right?
But it's not the same.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not.
not.
I mean, I'm
watch that.
this is the future, man.
Oh, yeah.
I understand it's the future, but the thing is, right? Boxing hasn't changed.
Can't hear a word you're saying,
much.
Jeff.
I said future is nerve dive in. We're that far along.
Right, yeah, y'all want that nerve gear.
Look, we want nerve gear, but I also want to watch TV. You know what I'm saying? I want to see a dude get hit, a real dude get really hit and get really knocked the F out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what that.
Have you
sports
ever
about.
watched BattleBots?
Oh, unfortunately, yeah. That is not exciting.
But say it was like people controlling robots that were fighting. There's a whole movie about that. What is that? Real Steel?
Real Steel. Yeah.
Like, would you watch
enjoyed
that?
movie. Yeah, I would.
So I mean, there's a market for this. That's all I'm saying.
There's a market. It can't be 100% digital. If I go to the arena, I need to feel the impact.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Get that Megalobox.
Yeah, that's an anime that also does similar stuff.
I think that what this shows, I feel like once this all blows over, because it will, and I'm going to say everyone tries to get back to their normalcy, the businesses will realize how much money they could make virtually, and that it's that untapped market. Because if you could get, because NASCAR have all their sponsorships on their cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if those same NASCAR people are streaming, and then they get even more sponsorships that way, and then you get to keep your actual driver, because, yes, the cars are important, but it's the person in the vehicle that's, the most important person. So if you
He's
can
the
keep
player.
if you could keep that asset, if you could keep that person nice and safe, still doing the exact same thing and bringing in even more money, yes, they will definitely do that. But the other thing that this whole coronavirus has shown is that infrastructure-wise, we are not there yet. And I hope we get, and boy, do I want us to get there, because as an introvert, I'm not having a terrible time of things. I do like the fact that sometimes I get to just, have less people breathe the same air as I breathe. But to be able to experience things like that from the comfort and safety of, these four walls, yeah, that's pretty nice.
Okay.
I
So
can see that.
we're going to move on to our next topic. Jeff, you want to take this one?
Yes. Recently we had a mini direct from Nintendo.
Unannounced, right? Or was that just missed?
I don't know. I feel like they always kind of come out of nowhere for the most part, to me at least.
Okay.
Included in that with a plethora of different things, from Alliance to Smash Brothers. We got the announcement of the next DLC character, which is going to be a character from their game ARMS.
Right.
If you're not familiar with it, it's a fighting game where these boxing gloves are like springs on your.
Yeah, man. In fact, there's supposed to be like a free trial period. I haven't actually checked.
I think it's this
Is
weekend.
it this weekend?
Yes.
Wait, is it
Yes,
right
it
now
is.
or the following weekend?
It's right now.
Right now. Okay.
Right now. Yeah.
So I need to probably check that out before it's gone.
Like what we talked about, where Nintendo, I don't think they're doing a lot of characters for Smash anymore. I think they're going to utilize some of their Switch games that are coming out to these characters to not only push those games but also push those characters as well. So
I still think it'll probably be a mix, to be honest. Like maybe we'll get a couple more first party ones and then
keep a tally.
all right.
And we'll revisit this, and you can tell me I was right.
Sure.
So ARMS has a long list of characters. Who do you think is going to be?
Well, the fan favorite character, what everybody wants, is Twinella.
Twintel.
Twintel.
Tell.
Yeah.
Yes, she's a She's a black female. Awesome. She looks very like she'll finesse you and still look
Elegant.
Yes.
And like her gloves are her hair, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. She's super cool.
There was an unfortunately a very long controversy when she first came out, but yeah.
She's a baddie. And I think she'll be amazing in Smash. And I'm a super fan of a black woman in Smash.
So the front runners are going to be Spring Man and Ribbon Girl, which are two of the main characters.
Yeah, and they'll probably do like the half costumes belong to Ribbon Man, half costumes belong to
Well, they
Ribbon
have
Girl.
different move sets. There's different move sets for each person, so I don't know.
Yeah,
that.
So here's my thoughts about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be Spring Man or Ribbon Girl because there's already Mii Fighter costumes out for them. So so I don't think there's already Spring Brawler fighter costumes for them. So I don't think it's going to be Spring Man or Ribbon Girl.
Yeah, and they generally don't kind of double dip in terms of.
Yeah.
I was
right. Now,
or Ninjara.
Yeah, so I feel it's going to be that or the most recent or one of the two most recent characters, Dr. Coil or Springtron. Only because Springtron doesn't really have any signature arms except the ones that, like all of the ones that you've unlocked. And maybe, and I was just thinking maybe this could be something similar with Pokemon Trainer, where you have Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard. Perhaps you'll have 3 different arms fighters, or they're going to do something like the Bowser kids, as far as like, you switch
Just
out your fighters
for all of them, right?
Oh, okay.
That's what I was thinking.
But then you go back to the point that every single arms, like in the actual game,
moveset,
they have their own moveset.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that.
You could say the same thing about the Koopa kids because they all have different abilities over the years.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
You don't see much from a lot of them. Some of
I don't.
Well, hold on.
I don't think so.
But when you see them in different castles, they got different sets of abilities that they're using to fight Mario.
Yes, so in their own individual games, they have different abilities. In Smash, they're all the same. But when you fight the Koopa kids individually, like Super Mario World, and you go into the castles, some use magic, some use fire, some just, ground pound on you.
Actually, none of them actually really use the what's that clown car? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're all copies of Baby
Bowser
not
Jr.
Baby Bowser Jr. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So like. Yeah, those are skins. So, like, none of those... I guess they're not actually the Koopa kids in that instance. They're just clones of Bowser Jr. So, like, that's why they don't have any of their moves. So, they're not actually their own character. But if you're going to, make your own character, it does make sense that they wouldn't give them separate skins if they all have separate movesets. And then you also bringing up the fact that since they have, the costumes, or Springman specifically is actual... What is it?
Wii Fighter.
No, not a Wii Fighter. The when you like drop
assist trophy.
Assist trophy. Yeah. He's an assist trophy. They usually don't double dip and make those actual characters. So that makes me also feel like, okay, so maybe they will just pick one specific character and then build out that character's moveset, and then that character will represent the rest. And in that instance, you bringing up this Springtron guy who kind of can represent multiple different ones seems like a good fit. But I personally would feel like Twintail would just be the better character.
Twintail, definitely my number one choice. I think Bite and Bark might be an option there because it's kind of two characters. They're a little quirky, and I don't know. I just something tells me that I could see them being in Smash. I don't think people would be happy with that, but I could see those two being in Smash. They're pretty.
Because Sakurai tends to every new character try to do something weird, something new, something that hasn't been done before. So I wouldn't see him making a thing where they switch out like Pokemon Trainer, or even where like you would press a button and then they transform into another one, like maybe Zelda and Sheik used to be back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
Like he'll introduce something new to kind of mix up the world, because that's kind of been what he's done so far. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, I think it's a good choice. ARMS is kind of an underserved community. Like I've never played the game. It looked interesting, but I don't know how much life it has. Maybe this will help, give it a shot at a sequel, because sequels tend to do better than their previous games.
I played ARMS for a while. I was
didn't like it.
It was cool for a little bit. You're kind of doing the boxing thing if you're holding the Joy-Cons. And if you're not holding Joy-Cons, I think it was a little bit more difficult to not hold them and like have them attached to the thing. I don't see a huge future for ARMS, to be honest, unless they get a mad hype from this character.
I mean, Smash has been known to
so that's what I'm saying. That's
the
only thing I see happening.
That could be the whole reason why it's in there. Like internal Nintendo people might have been like, "Hey, we wanna try and get a sequel for ARMS out, so like popularize this franchise again."
When Joker dropped, I definitely started looking at Persona 5 again. Like,
because it was coming to Switch too.
I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's probable, but we'll see.
I still am a huge fan of ARMS because of a Switch event that I went to, and yeah, you are correct. It's heavily in your favor to actually use the Joy-Cons properly. Nintendo wanted this to be like this. Nintendo wanted this to be competitive, like Splatoon was competitive, and it just never caught on. Like it was just overshadowed by so
of the
many
Joy-Cons.
other things.
That's how I feel about it. Like you make the Joy-Cons like the premier version of your control scheme, you're gonna lose a ton of people just off principle. I don't want to play a game like that.
I think when it comes to highly competitive gaming, Joy-Cons cannot keep up with people's reflexes, and I think that's really what it is.
Motion controls suck.
So far.
I mean, so far, yeah. So we're gonna move off of the Smash Bros. Topic and move on to some concerning news. Blue, you want to take this topic?
Bro, okay, man. I feel like the bearer of bad news, bro. Xbox Series X graphics source code reportedly stolen, being held for $100 million ransom. So somebody was digging through an old hacked computer. Supposedly it was like a
AMD servers, the manufacturer.
Yeah. So the stolen data was found in the hacked computer that was the source code for AMD's Big Navi and Arden GPUs. GPUs are graphics processing units, so that basically helps everything show up on your screen faster and don't look like PUBG. So the source code for that was stolen, and what's more important about that is it was reported to be pretty much one of the main component of the Xbox X GPU, the 12 teraflop. And honestly, when I'm reading this article, so it was a rumor at first. Then they said, we feel like it's a real breach because AMD released the DMCA. Some more research I had to do today. And that's the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So they're like, yo, give us our stuff back kind of deal. Pretty much saying that legally.
It's like, you don't have the right to do this, so you're forced to take it down.
Yeah. So it's a real breach as far as we know. Like all signs point to yes. but it doesn't seem like they're really worried about it. A lot of the Xbox CEO said like there's no indication of delays for this. All the specs were already revealed, so it's not like anything new. But it's still unfortunate this is happening. You know what I mean?
It's really stupid. It's like some guy got somewhere where he wasn't supposed to, took the opportunity, let's say, to get hold of something that's important to a business, and immediately went, give me $100 million, which is a figure that it's so random. It's like it's out of like a TV show or a cartoon.
If I could, please, because that reminds me. Does anyone remember that scene from Batman where it's like, so you are going to blackmail your boss? That like it's that one scene from the Batman where with Morgan Freeman in it, and the guy finds out that there's all these secret accounts going on in Wayne Enterprise. Yeah, yes, and he's like,
that's Batman. That's the Dark Knight, right?
That's the Dark Knight, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, he does all these things, and you want to blackmail him for this amount of money? Good luck. Like, it's like, yeah, okay. And the other thing that I have to do, only because, you know, the comment section of these articles are always just fascinating, I have to read a beautiful little excerpt. So if you could just me. All right. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have any money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my source code go now, that will be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will bill you after 1 month free of Xbox Game Pass.
Gamer Neeson, everybody.
Because I'm even looking at this like, and again, this is coming from like the IT side of things. It's like, okay, so you stole you stole the source code for something, and now you're going to hold ransom for it. Now other people in IT might disagree with me, but congrats, I guess, because it's
what can you do with that?
Exactly. If you don't have any other hardware, to, like if you source code, big whoop. Like it's not going to do anything for you except you control information, but that information is only as valuable as other people see it. Unless you've got your own Xbox somewhere else and you're going to sell it at a reduced price to really jab at Microsoft, what are you going to do with this?
It's like the threat that he's making is, I'm going to release it. Everyone's going to know what it is. And like, what can people really do with that info? Like, because honestly, if someone were to then take, like, let's say some up and coming companies like, oh man, I really wish we had some source code to go with this stuff that we're making. They get AMD's stuff from this leak. As soon as AMD sees, oh, you guys are using our source code, it's still AMD source code. You're getting sued.
100%. Like they've already told you that they're going to. They say don't show up with my stuff.
Like all of this technology stuff, like it's all protected. Like they're a big company. Like just because you stole it doesn't mean you can then just use it. Like you release it to the world for free, okay? But like we're not gonna make homebrew graphics cards. At least I'm not.
It's like a thief who steals something that's not valuable.
I mean, it's just it's unfortunate because it kind of makes AMD look bad because someone got a hold of your stuff, you know, and that's always bad in tech.
That's the only thing, yeah.
But like they're not gonna pay $100 million. This guy, maybe he does release it to the internet, but like the impact is gonna be minimal at best. Like it's just dumb that there are people out there doing this kind of stuff. Like to me, like that seems to be like the crux of the story. It's like, look at the idiots we have.
Yeah, pretty much. And like I said, the Xbox and GameStop CEOs are saying there's not gonna be any kind of change. Nothing really matters.
Yeah, like we're doing what we're doing. Whatever.
Yeah. Cool story, bro. They basically say cool story, bro.
Yes.
So yeah, that's that news.
Okay, so sticking to Microsoft, but also throwing Sony in the mix, our next topic, our next topic has to do with some statements that both companies have made very recently in regards to the future of product delays. Like, kind of in this vein, like they've both said somewhat that, you know, the virus has impacted many things. You know, people are working from home in terms of game development studios, in terms of factories overseas shutting down and whatnot. Like, so they kind of just said, like, look, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Things could be impacted, but didn't necessarily say that anything that we know of is currently being impacted.
Yeah.
But just the same, that kind of sowed a lot of doubt in the industry. So Sony later released a statement saying, like, hey, hold on. I know what we just said, but we're still planning to release the PS5 in holiday 2020.
Come holiday, yeah.
So still, we don't know what release dates are for either console, but both of them maintain that they're still going to be on track for this year. But I want to pose this question based on this information. Let's say they do get held up because the corona situation is still evolving. Things can change, which is why they put out those statements. What if they do have to push the consoles out of this holiday season? What do you think happens to Microsoft and Sony? Like, does everything just get delayed until the new console generation starts?
I don't think they have a choice at
Yeah,
that point.
What other choice?
The streaming, the cloud.
Well, but
What are you
okay, so
talking about? Like,
I
how are
see
we
where
gonna
you're
get-
going with. Are we okay? So are you talking about what the companies will do, or what the companies will do as far as they can't release this thing? Because I feel like they're still going to continue to push their streaming. But with your question, are you talking specifically about, so what is Sony and Microsoft going to do with the delay of the new consoles?
Yes.
Okay, so I feel like it's going to be as one boy once said, they'll just keep it pushing. They'll keep doing exactly what it is that they're doing until it can be released, because just like with what they did with NASCAR, you'll find a way to innovate because you have no other choice.
Okay, well, think about this then, because the thing that popped in my head immediately when the possibility of one or both of the consoles being delayed was the fact that Microsoft has been trying to get away from, a centralized console. So, like, if Halo Infinite is ready and it's supposed to release on Xbox and PC, why wouldn't they just release it on their xCloud service like they said they were going to do, as well as PC?
In the cards. I don't think that's far-fetched at all.
Right.
But I don't think that has to do with the release of the console.
No, it does.
They're not leaving the Xbox One behind, so it was a way for them to still put this material out.
Right.
Series X actually being out.
Right. Like, so basically, you would get next gen games now, because
Wasn't it going to be on the one anyway?
Yes, that's what I'm getting at. Remember, like they were going to have like the lower end version, and you get the free upgrade, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's an option that Microsoft has. It's not an option that Sony has, is what I'm getting at.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
where you go with this? Like,
now we're all on the same sheet of music.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, unless
My
Sony
bad.
says
I guess it
stuff
took too long to get to that point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was like, what does that have to do with Microsoft? Okay, got you.
Yeah, so like,
with Sony side, like, unless they just start releasing news about, I mean, they're gonna have to just say something, bro. Sony's got a lot of work to do before this console release anyway.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't. Yeah, if they continue the way that their press is going right now, you're not going to see a lot of people lining up for a PS5 by the time it actually drops.
and another thing is, say their manufacturing is not affected right now, right? They have a couple consoles already made. We know that because those boxes exist somewhere. If they can't re-up their manufacturing and they become scarce, again,
that's dangerous.
It's in the same situation. Sony can't sell more consoles than Xbox if they don't have them, but Xbox can still sell their games to people who already have PCs, to people who already have Xbox Ones.
True. Very true.
And this goes back to my point. You're going to have to innovate. You're gonna have to find a new way to do this. And I'm not saying that Microsoft had the forethought of like, okay, the world is going to be in this global pandemic.
Yeah, no, they
everyone's
just got
gonna be
lucky.
locked.
Yeah, and
Like there's no way they could see this happening, but it just so happens that the way they're playing this game, it just happens to work out in their favor because they can still, because a lot of what companies are giving, it's not, we're trying to make sure we give you content. It's just been generalized as content. So now Microsoft has the capability to give you content on your phone, on your computer, and on a system. Sony has the ability to give it to you on your system and very terribly
Halfway
on your
phone.
Yeah, very terribly
their
on
app
your
is
phone.
like it's like
So
a link
bad.
to their website.
Exactly. but they have no home PC foothold. I mean, even Apple has something like that. Sony doesn't have anything like that. So there's going to have to be some heavy innovation, or Microsoft just going to keep feeding people things. And then when this blows over, it's like, hey, you know all that stuff? Well, we got this console for you. And everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, because they've been playing with it and they've been constantly getting stuff from Microsoft all this time. Then Sony's going to be like, hey guys, we also got stuff. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Jeff, you're going to say something.
Oh, never mind. It's passed. It was kind of a heat in the moment.
Oh, my bad. But yeah, this is gonna be crazy, y'all. I thoroughly hope that Sony pulls it together and just starts saying some stuff very soon to get players and gamers hyped about the PS5,
or at least just make us informed. Like, let us know what you're planning to do, because
And don't do
that's
what
exactly
you
what I'm
did
saying.
last time. Don't do what you did last time, though.
Yeah, don't.
Okay, I don't want to read your white paper on your PS5. Okay,
I had a thesis on audio.
please stop. Please stop.
just oversharing a bit.
Yeah, just
But-
a tad bit.
Okay, so we'll move off of our topics. We
get
had
into weird
quite a
stuff.
couple questions in the mailbag this week. Thanks again. If you want to send emails, send them to bbetgaming@gmail.com. We're going to skip one of our questions that I know you guys are looking at right now in the doc because we've been going over time. But I want to give attention to Meat Hero 22, who's a first-time question asker. He's
What's
part
up,
of our
Meat Hero?
Xbox squad. You know, we play a lot of games with Meat Hero. So he has a really interesting question. If you could choose 3 developers that Microsoft could buy to develop exclusive games, who would you choose? I have my answers written here in case you guys haven't gotten to that
Go
yet.
ahead.
So I'll start. Playdead, the guys behind Limbo as well as Inside. Like, they're a small team, but they've made fantastic games. Their games have been kind of tied to Xbox as timed exclusives in the past, so I feel like it's a good fit. Like, they're a critically acclaimed studio. Microsoft needs more, titles that just win awards in general. So, like, it's good. It would be good if they paired with them because they have a, existing relationship. And, like, again, they're a small dev team who has never made a bad game so far. So I feel like putting money into them would you'd get something good out of it.
Okay.
My second choice is Remedy. These are the original Max Payne people. They also made Quantum Break, which was an Xbox exclusive. And most recently, they've made Control. They also made Alan Wake, which is an Xbox exclusive back in the day.
I remember Alan Wake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Slower mystery.
But
right?
Control
That's like
definitely
Heavy
looks
Rain
super
and
cool. And I intend to play it eventually, still haven't gotten to it. But for some reason, I already thought Remedy got picked up by Microsoft during their studio buy phase.
Yeah.
And I guess they just weren't. So I somehow just lumped them in there automatically. But I honestly feel like they'd be a good fit for giving Xbox decent third-person action games. They're not really changing the world, but they are the people that kind of brought video games slow motion bullet time. So that's interesting.
That's significant.
Yeah, it's significant to the history.
Okay.
I feel like they find a good home if Microsoft were to buy them. And the last one is kind of way out there. This is a thought I had forever ago. Capcom.
You want Microsoft to take over Capcom?
See, this was before Capcom basically went back on their A game. Like when Capcom was kind of struggling and like they couldn't release a good game to save their life, I felt like, look, if Microsoft bought them now and kind of gave them some support, they could do the good that they used to do. Eventually, they were able to kind of do it on their own. But if Microsoft had a stable of characters under the belt that Capcom had, like, dude, like if Devil May Cry wasn't exclusive, if Mega Man games were exclusive, like, come on, Capcom has wide range of history. That would be fantastic get for them. Like the whole industry would have changed had that happened. So I still think it'd be cool. I still think it'd be cool, but Capcom's a little too big right now to get bought out. But those are my three. Like, what do you guys have?
So my first thought was Square Enix.
Okay.
I would have thought it would be cool to see Microsoft, like, their infrastructure really handle, and you know I'm thinking about Final Fantasy 14, right? Of course, right. But I think that it could really handle the whole series. You know, I'd love to see Final Fantasy 14 on the Xbox for sure, and I think that's still in the cards. Fingers crossed. But even the other games, I could see them fitting in with Game Pass the way that, for example, Kingdom Hearts 3 does. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they're starting to bring a lot more anime central games. You got, oh my gosh, I was just playing. Oh my gosh, it was the virtual shooting. I can't believe I was like all this game like a month ago.
Are you talking about
Fatal Bullet, Sword Art Online?
So,
Fatal
okay,
Bullet.
that's what I thought you were. That's what I thought you were getting.
Yeah, they got oh my gosh, was it Jump Force?
Jump Force, yeah. They actually they revealed Jump Force on their stage, like that. The E3 was announced.
Yeah. So that being said, I feel like they're definitely going more the anime route, and I feel like help finish that off.
Yeah, that's a good. Like they definitely have that disconnect with Japanese audiences that they've been chasing forever. So yeah, Square Enix would definitely help fill that void.
My next one, y'all gonna think I'm crazy, right? And this is all like my choices. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this is the best choice. EA, and yeah, I know, because I'm only saying EA because I feel like Microsoft can fix it. I feel like Microsoft can help. I'm worried about my Star Wars games. I'm not gonna lie. I'm worried about my Star Wars games. Microsoft saved my Star Wars games. I love Star Wars Battlefronts 2, but the multiplayer is mad unreliable. But that being said, I actually want another shooter. Back in the day, Xbox actually did a Star Wars Clone Commando game.
Republic Commando or something?
Yeah. It was amazing. It was close to Halo actually. And you know, obviously the genre is going to be very similar, but set in the Star Wars universe and different weapons you can use as the Clone Commandos was amazing. I'd love to see a revamp of that. I don't know if EA's really has the rights to that if they were going to do a remake, but
they probably could.
They probably could.
Yeah,
they could find a way to make it happen.
They're the ones who have the license rights for now. But I think that might be up soon. Like they might not have too much more time. I don't know if they've renewed it or at least made it exclusive again with them in the near future. So I don't know. Yeah.
And man, I've been having a hard time figuring out what my last one's going to be. But again, if I was going to pull everything to Microsoft, it's just going to be Blizzard. I would like to see. I would like to see. Look.
They're gonna like go half bankrupt trying to buy these studios.
I'm not worried about that. Okay, Meat Hero didn't ask me about all that. He asked, "What would I like?"
Like games for $100 a piece.
Some of these games are worth it. No, I'll never say. Not right off the bat. Maybe if with some additions and some crazy stuff. But I just feel like Microsoft can handle, and I should say the Xbox can handle MMOs a lot more than the PS4 is doing right now. Right now, PS4 is handling more MMOs, and Xbox just has a much better network and connectivity, in my opinion. And I feel like it can make all these games spread out a little bit more to the console folks, not just on the PC side. So yeah, I'd like to see them take a stab at that.
Okay.
I think Blizzard has a really good catalog that I can see on Game Pass, or even just straight buying it and playing it on my Xbox. I could feel that.
Interesting choices.
Yeah.
So for me, first one's gonna be From Soft.
Okay, interesting.
Okay.
See that. I think the first party games they would make would be legendary.
I mean, they tend to always like From Software. Yeah.
I just lied. It would be the best first party game on Xbox. 10 or 15 years.
10 or 15 years. Wow.
I can't think of a first party game that stuck out to me on Xbox One to the point I'm like, yeah. That could be.
He said, yeah.
Right now, no. But so From Software, then for me, it's going to be Telltale Games.
Okay. That's the Walking Dead and
like the story game.
The storytelling, yeah.
Because they came back, but in a smaller.
Yeah, like the studio was like kind of raised from the dead by a different company.
Yeah. So Telltale Games for me, I think with the right direction, I think the thing that bankrupted them was the big name
licenses, right?
Licenses that they were using that they
like
just
Batman.
Yeah, nothing. Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I heard that was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, that game
like
didn't
fans
do great.
of Telltale.
Yeah, and it just didn't turn
Didn't
around.
like that.
They lost so much money on that. And so, wasn't bad. I let it.
Yeah, that one's actually considered one of their best. The Tales from the Borderlands. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously The Walking Dead has always done well.
Mm-hmm.
But how much did that cost them to do?
Right.
Based on because The Walking Dead at that time was it.
It's like it was literally like the biggest TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, which was it at that time.
Right.
But they couldn't use. It didn't seem like they used any of the characters because they couldn't use them without messing up the continuity of the TV show.
So no one is really interested.
Yeah, it's like, oh, who are these people? Okay, I don't know you. And then, I think correctly, it would be Psyonix. The
Rocket League people. They got bought by Epic. So that'd be funny if Microsoft somehow bought them again.
You gave us $2 more than what you were offering. And, it's a better deal, so we'll go there. Just because of what they've done with Rocket League, such a simple format, but how explosive it has been since the release of it, and how much it draws people in. I think they need some of that. I remember playing an Xbox game a long time ago. It was like a music game where you had to. It was like a Mario Party type game where you had these characters who make music, but there were all these mini games. I don't remember the name of it. But
yeah, I have no idea. That does not at all familiar.
I can't remember the name of it. Crap.
Yo, you got to come back with that, yeah.
But, it was very good. So I think they need games like that, and I think
that kind of smaller, just like more,
just fun games.
Right. Okay.
Mini games. But I don't really. The mini game trope has kind of gotten out of control. But I think smaller games like that, where you're just put in these particular situations with a group of other people, and you're just seeing who can do these silly things or whatever it is the best, and it's just fun. I think Mario Party when it first came out was a great game,
right?
But then after how many of them came out already?
I think
they
stopped at
over
like 8,
12 or.
Oh no! Yeah,
we
because I
have
remember
Super Mario Party now.
Oh wow!
Super Mario Party.
Yeah, we have Super Mario Party on the Switch now.
So it's kind of gotten out of control, but I think I think Psyonix, what they did with Rocket League, if they did something similar, maybe not the exact thing as soccer, or maybe that could have been a one-off. We don't know. That could have been that was, hey, this is a great idea. We did it.
And that's the only thing they know how to do.
But I think Xbox with some solid first party games from those three would just like.
Okay.
Yeah, those are some good picks. How about you,
All
Gamer?
right. All right, let's go. First, level 5.
Okay.
I love Rogue Galaxy. I love Dark Cloud. I want something like that with the infrastructure, with Microsoft's infrastructure. I have not had a good platform experience yet on the Xbox, and I know it's there. I just haven't had it yet. But when I just go back to Dark Cloud and Dark Cloud 2, when I go back to Ni no Kunai, when I go back to Dragon Quest 9, I think is the one I'm working on again, I just absolutely love all of that. And the thing with Microsoft is it can either be played on the PC or on my console, which would just be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely love that. Secondly, would be harmonics. I need my music. I need my music games back again,
I like that
because I miss them. I'm to this day, and it is March 29th. I'm still playing Frequency on the PS2.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
I haven't heard of that game in forever.
I have the playlist, the Spotify playlist for a work focused when I'm working, like I'm coding, I'm listening to Frequency.
Okay.
Like
that was a good track.
Science Genius Girl from Freeze Pop, Accelerator, like all of those songs. And yeah, you got your guitar here on your Rock Band, and that's nice because you're doing this or doing this. But it's like, no,
I loved Rock Band.
Yeah.
Just straight up give me music. Like give me all of that again. And finally, Insomniac. Because what Insomniac did with Ratchet and Clank was unforgivable.
Wait, what did they do?
Yo, they messed up.
Okay, so
and then they do a movie too.
Oh
yeah, I heard the movie was
I'll
bad.
explain the story. So story time. So we had Ratchet and Clank on the PS2. It came out. It was competing against Sly Cooper. It was competing against Jak and Daxter. It was competing against Crash Bandicoot. But everyone was kind of doing their own things, even though they were all platformers. Then you got Ratchet and Clank 2 going commando, going Ratchet and Clank 3 up your arsenal, going over to the PSP. I feel like I'm Jeff explaining comics right now. And then you have Ratchet and Clank Size Matters on the PSP, and then you have a whole lot of other spin-off games. But then Insomniac on the PS4 brings it all the way back to Ratchet and Clank, the first one,
but
on
like
the
a reboot, sort of, right?
Yes, but they did it at the same time while trying to promote the movie.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the movie was terrible. The video game was terrible. But you had people who had wanted a Ratchet and Clank something for such a long time because of its story and just its complete wackiness. And then you go from a hero who's able to essentially like save the galaxy with like some actual humor back to, oh, look, stupid tropes again. And it's like, why did you do this to me? You had written such a nice, strong character. It's like what Team Ninja did with Samus. It's like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
She was perfect as she was. Ratchet was perfect as he was. And then you did this. And it was just so bad. It's like
you think that Microsoft can write a better story or do something with it right now?
Yes, I would throw my money at that like a nostalgic Kickstart. I would throw my money so hard, and it's because it holds such a big part of me. Everyone has a lot of numbers that they remember. The number that I remember from my childhood is 116. Do you know why? Because that's how many times I had beaten the first Ratchet and Clank game. And the reason I know that is because every single time you beat it, you get a G, and then there's a number after that G. I had gotten every gold weapon. I had maxed out my bolts. I had every single achievement unlocked. And mind you, when I was very young, it took me 116 playthroughs of Ratchet and Clank, the first one on the PS2, to do that, and I did it, and I would do it again if I had the time. That's how much it means to me.
Right.
That's why I'm like, even before Sly Cooper, who I love, but Ratchet was first. Ratchet was first in my heart. I need something better to come from that. Like, give me my smart talking Lombax, give me my sarcastic little robot, give me actual humor. Don't try to make pop culture references, because I don't care. I'm in a completely different world for a reason. If I wanted pop culture reference, TikTok or YouTube or Instagram models or whatever, I don't want that.
You know those Instagram models with their pop culture references.
Like, whatever.
I'm like, we can tell who's not there. No,
Whatever.
it's funny. But I get you, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel you.
Sometimes they do too much. So if you feel like Microsoft can handle it and cradle your baby, then do it to it.
Exactly. And the biggest thing, especially with the music-based video games, the ability for me to play them anywhere. Like when it's on the PC,
That's
it could
true.
and that's the kicker. I didn't have that when I was little. Like, I think, and a lot of people might have this experience, when you got yourself a PS2, your parents were amazing and they bought you this system, and then they're like, oh wait, you need video games for it. So then you drove on over to GameStop and got the video game, and you were really happy until you realized that you didn't have a memory card. So you had your PS2 just like a radiator in your room, because you knew that if you turn that off, all of your stuff is gone. There's just so much. Like, can you, if that were to happen and they were like, Insomniac released a statement, okay guys, yeah, we really screwed the pooch on the last one. Microsoft is going to help us do better, right, Big Daddy Microsoft? That's right, Insomniac. I would be.
You do know Sony just recently bought Insomniac, so you don't think Sony could then also hold their hand and let them remake your baby like this?
No, not right now. They have not given me any for me to have faith in that right now. Like, there is nothing that Sony has done, and here's the thing. Let me clarify that statement. There is nothing that I know of that Sony has done. Sony has probably done things, but we have already had numerous discussions about Sony's lack of releasing information. So as far as I'm concerned, I have no reason to think that they would. They probably have something amazing lined up and haven't told us. Well, that information is really useful when you don't tell people, huh?
I mean, I personally feel like Insomniac probably never really wanted to go back to Ratchet and Clank, and the only reason you got that reboot game was because that movie was a thing. Yeah.
Ugh.
And so, especially with it not being well received, Insomniac, they just made Spider-Man. They're going to probably work on Spider-Man 2. Like, I really don't feel like they have any intention to go. Like, if you see Ratchet and Clank again, it's going to be some other studio that takes it over. And then that's at Insomniac's discretion to give it to some other studio, you know? That's how I kind of see it.
Go ahead.
Sony still has Sucker Punch, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they did Sly Cooper.
Yes.
Yes, Sucker Punch. Yep.
Do you think that Sucker Punch could handle Ratchet and Clank?
I think that because I wouldn't want that. The writing is significantly less detailed with Sucker Punch versus Ratchet and Clank, and I at least with the worlds that they've made, like, you have at least 3 or 4 different galaxies in Ratchet and Clank. With Sly Cooper, you've got basically London and some other remote places of the world. So I would actually want, if I could have it, like if I completely had my way and I had the Infinity Gauntlet, there would already be a few more Sly Coopers. Like, Jack and Daxter has ended, but I would want to go as far as the level of ridiculousness with Metal Gear, but bring that same ridiculousness to Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper. You just
You
get
say Metal
on.
Gear?
Yes.
Okay.
Like just give me that, and you have me completely engrossed. Like the Thievius Raccoonus and all that jazz was amazing. The Rhino, like I will never forget that cutscene. Like Rhino for your robot, trade you. Like, and I see you giving me these looks, but like
I didn't play those games, so
right. This is
just
my
can't relate.
childhood. Like I'm looking at this, and it's just like,
And we
yes.
can see how it has impacted you. You know what I
And
mean?
okay, and then obviously we do have to mention furry. Like I just like, come on, let's just get it out
Some would
there.
argue we didn't have to mention it, but we understand that you had to.
Well, I mean, it's just for that level of clarification. I mean, during my last stream, we had a handsome Jack pop back in. It was like, oh look, Mr. Gamer looks like a blue Pikachu, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, I'll take it. So that is a very long answer to that. Yeah, just do better, Insomniac, and maybe you'll do better with somebody else holding the reins. But I did like Spider-Man. It wasn't bad. It was very well done. But Spider-Man isn't Ratchet and Clank.
That's true.
Poor Spider-Man. He'll never be Ratchet and Clank.
Poor Spider-Man.
That's true. It's very true. All right.
Was that your third one or your second one?
That was the third, I thought.
So yeah, I said because it was Harmonix.
Oh right.
It was it was Harmonix, and then after Harmonix was Insomniac,
Didn't you
and
say
then
like
level 5.
Yeah, level 5
level
first
5. Yep, so that's 3.
Okay, so those are our picks. Meet Hero. Be like Meet Hero. Ask us questions.
Yeah.
We do have some in the bank that are going to pop up. We had to skip over one today because we were running a little long, but send them all to bbetgaming@gmail.com. Jeff, where can people find you if they're looking for you on the internet?
You are looking, and I'm assuming you are. You can find me at Jeff12. You can also find me on Facebook at SupermanJeff12 Plays, and on Mixer at SupermanJeff12.
Gamer, how about you?
You can find me at startbuttonreview.com. You can also find me at SBRMRGAMER on basically all social media platforms. I know on Instagram and Twitter and Mixer, Xbox. Yep, that's where you can find me. And also SBR Reports. That's SBR and then another R Reports. So 2 R's. Start button, not smash button.
I didn't say a word.
He didn't say anything.
I don't even try that no more. I was like that guy right there.
That's where you can find me.
Cool. Blue, where can people find you?
It's your boy Blue Bones BLUB0 NES. I think I say that too fast, but it's just like rolling off the tongue now. Anyway, find me on Twitter. Find me on Instagram with that BLUB0 NES. You can find me on Xbox. Blue Bones XB, Wakanda Forever. Normally Jeff helps me out with that, but it's all right. It's all right, brother. You can find me on Facebook, Play with Blue Bones, and definitely check out the team's YouTube. Check out our Twitch. Check out the Mixer, BBETGaming. Man. We got some fun stuff every week for you. Come through, be a part of it, laugh with us. That's it.
Yep. You can find me on pretty much all social media at Sigma Gears 9. You can find me on Facebook at Sigma and Sun. You can find my 3-minute reviews as well as some opinion articles I've done on escapismagazine.com as well as their YouTube. That's pretty much it. Thanks everybody for watching, for listening. Thanks to my 3 co-hosts. That's going to do it for episode 40 of the BBET GamesCast. Peace.
Adios.